As anticipation grows for next week's House vote on the full release of documents related to the government's investigation of Jeffrey Epstein, President Trump says he wants to look into the convicted sex offender's ties to a number of high-profile Democrats and banks. In a Truth Social post, the president said, "I will be asking AG Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, JP Morgan Chase, and many other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and him." This comes days after House Democrats released a series of emails from Epstein's estate that mentioned President Trump multiple times, including one written to his longtime associate and co-conspirator Ghislaine Maxwell, which says in part, "I want you to realize that that dog that hasn't barked is Trump." President Trump has denied any wrongdoing. He and those mentioned in his post also haven't been charged with a crime. CBS News Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane has been following the story. So, Scott, the timing of this is hard to ignore ahead of the House vote. What do we expect to come from this?
Well, we expect that U.S. House vote early or mid next week, based on the House's schedule right now. There seems to be the sufficient votes to pass this measure, which would require the Department of Justice to release the Epstein case files, if that measure is also passed by the U.S. Senate, and if that measure is also signed by the president. Those are two big other steps that would need to be taken. But the release of these emails come as the Epstein estate, not the Department of Justice, but the Epstein estate responded to a congressional subpoena for these records. It was the House Oversight Committee that put those out this week. Both parties of the Oversight Committee released those messages. We emphasize that Democrats on the panel, who've been uniquely and specifically critical of the president's handling of the Epstein matter, spotlighted certain emails they wanted to underscore. But all of this was put out into the universe by Congress.
A new prosecutor has been assigned to the Georgia election interference case against President Trump and others after Fani Willis was disqualified. What could happen here?
Yeah, this is the head of the search committee, ended up appointing himself to be the new prosecutor to succeed Fani Willis in this 2020 election subversion case. Bottom line is the search committee in Georgia could not find somebody willing to or able to take the case, so the search committee put its head of the committee in charge. All of this goes into a remarkably slow lane. This is not going to speed through traffic. This case has already been atrophied. No indication it's going to move anytime soon.
And CBS News has been reporting exclusively on John Bonuelos, the January 6th defendant who was arrested for kidnapping and sex assault for an incident that happened in Utah, I believe in 2018. He was in court today. What do we know?
We're waiting for his initial appearance at a court in Salt Lake City. This case is distinctive for two different reasons. John Bonuelos wasn't just a January 6th riot defendant. He was accused of pulling a gun amid the mob and firing it into the air, from those images from his charging document. He got clemency on January 20th. His case was dismissed. He was freed from jail, and now he's back in jail, charged with a crime that occurred allegedly in 2018 in Utah. Apparently, Lindsay, a DNA test spotted Bonuelos as a likely defendant in that case just this past August.
Scott MacFarlane, thank you.